we've been talking all week about how huge the business of cricket is. He's a global marketing expert, and he has made quite a voyage. I think we can call this a cricket odyssey. Let's take a look at Tariq's travels before we introduce you to him. Tariq Khan started out March 14th in New York, where he runs his business. He took a 12-hour plane ride to Dubai. There he goes. 5 days later, on to Karachi, Pakistan. Then Tariq arrived in Colombo, Sri Lanka. That was March 27th. He was there to see Tuesday's semifinal between Sri Lanka and New Zealand. Right after the game, he took a midnight flight to Mumbai, India. Then another flight. Yeah, this was North Delhi, and then Chandigarh. And then as soon as he touched down, Tariq went straight to the stadium to watch the India-Pakistan match there. I had to run for that one. Then after the game and just a few hours of sleep, it was back to Delhi. This time, Tariq and his friends drove, since there were no more flights available. And from there, it's another flight to Mumbai and Saturday's final between Sri Lanka and India. By the way, we added it all up, and all told, Tariq has traveled more than 18,000 kilometers in the past 2 weeks, and all of it for cricket. That's a big number. And he's with us now. A very tired Tariq Khan joins us from Mumbai. Okay, how was the India-Pakistan match?
It was phenomenal, Colleen, and thanks for the opportunity. I have traveled all my life and never had an opportunity to travel like this. And the introduction was great. I am a big cricket fan. It is very difficult to really explain unless you were there yourself. When you watch the game on the TV, it's very different. But the total environment in the stadium and people screaming, and a lot of people treated that game as a final because these countries really have a relationship, which is a love and hate relationship that goes on and off. So it was really a phenomenal experience.
Well, and correct me if I've got this wrong, but you were born in Pakistan, right? But much of your family is from India? I mean, wow. What did it mean to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I was born in Pakistan. My parents were born in India. I have a very large family in Pakistan. I have a family in India as well, where I am right now. And every time I travel, if I travel in either of these countries, nobody can tell just by my looks and, the language and all that. And these countries have more things in common than different. But when it comes to sports or other things, the animosity comes out, which is friendly in a way. So even today, yesterday when I came from the flight and I announced people that I came from Pakistan or New York, I mean, they really welcomed me, and it was not animosity in that sense. Even in the stadium when we were watching the game, I changed the sections. First, I was sitting in the Indian section, and then I was sitting in the Pakistani section. So it's really very interesting, and it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, it sure is. And we're looking at some photos that you took there as well. Thank you so much for sending them to us. Now, I know you're an expert on global marketing to Muslims in particular. You're an adjunct professor, so I know you're looking at the business side of this as well. And what are your thoughts? I mean, if the relationship between India and Pakistan were to change and that border were to become open, how big would the opportunities be?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Colleen. I have watched the games over the years, and usually I follow them on television, live television. But when you really arrive in a market, and I think as a marketer, I mean, look at India. They're going through their census. In last 10 years, India has added 170 million people. That's bigger than the entire country like Brazil or Pakistan. And there is a huge consumer market that exists today. And I still think that this market, the South Asian market, which is about 1.5 billion people, is not fully tapped. And the sports does a lot of things that sometimes diplomacy cannot do. As an example, that India and Pakistan, they had some difficult situations since last 2 years, and the head of states have not been able to meet. But the cricket game alone, when they realized that India and Pakistan would be playing in semi-final, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh of India invited Pakistani Prime Minister 4 or 5 days before the game, and he made himself available, and he arrived, and he brought people, and their foreign secretaries and the home secretaries, they sat together. So there is a huge business opportunities in these two countries. I mean, these countries spend a lot of money on their military. They have, the 10th largest, the 4th largest military, respectively. And if they really become a force, a country like Canada or US, where they can really be more productive in providing a business opportunity, I think it would be great for the whole world.
You imagine a border like that and trade like that. Tariq, our Manisha Tank is a huge cricket fan, and she is sitting in Hong Kong right now. She is with us on the program today, jumping out of her seat. She wants to ask you a question. Manisha, go for it.
Actually, it's kind of a funny question, but you know what, Tariq? I've been messaging back and forth with friends of mine in the US, and I've been teasing them, saying, come on, what do you know about cricket? Do you think that a game like cricket could ever hit it off in a country like the United States?
You know, it's interesting. If you asked me this question a few years ago, my answer would be probably not in my lifetime. But my kids and my friends' kids who are, teenagers, know nothing about cricket and don't know much about India and Pakistan, but they have started engaging, about this, that, we have a club and, all the people from Indian origin and Pakistani origin, they are challenging each other. And I think cricket is coming sooner than we thought because the sports has become so popular and people are so more engaged and the kind of friendly animosity that it brings among people, it's really becoming very interesting. And a country like New Zealand is now thinking of doing an international series in US. So I would really keep my fingers crossed. And I think now there is a possibility of having this game more popular in my lifetime.
Tariq, it's Colleen back here again. We got to wrap real quick, but very quickly. India, Sri Lanka. You want to make a prediction?
Yeah, an Asian team will win.
You are a pro. You are a pro. Thank you, Tariq Khan. It's quite an odyssey. Appreciate it. Enjoy the final.